Soman, and this is Resistance TV.
So we're here with Resistance TV at Resistance 2012, and we're here with Soman. And the first thing I'd like to say is, Resistance Festival is the second year running. Are you excited to be here? Are you looking and catching any of the bands this weekend?
So I was really excited to come over here because I was here already some years ago with VNB Nation, and then again solo. That was a time when I had a broken leg and I couldn't perform properly. So I had the feeling that definitely I had to go back to Sheffield and compensate for that.
And be yourself, sort of.
Yeah.
So you mentioned VNB Nation. Obviously, they play some massive shows, and especially on European mainland. You get some really, really huge industrial shows. I mean, we say Resistance is actually a fairly big show for a UK industrial festival.
Yeah.
How does the experience as an artist differ from playing the massive shows to the smaller, more intimate festivals?
Well, it doesn't differ that much. Only that it's more people, of course. Yes, if you have a 20,000 people audience, like Mera Luna, for example. But basically, it's not the number of people; it's the feeling, the emotion, and the energy of the crowd. So this crowd tonight is really extremely energetic, and that is something that I generally like about going to the UK, because the crowds over here are small, but they are really, really good. So in comparison to, for example, the German crowds, being much more difficult to get into the mood, basically.
So talking about your last release for Soman was in 2010.
Yes.
What's next? We was Neustyle in 2010. What's next for Soman?
I've become a bit cautious about saying this is the next thing, this is going to happen then and then. But the plan is to do some remixing of my own tracks, and I will just see what happens. And on the way, remixing, or let's say doing some actual mixes of my own tracks, what happens in parallel. If it happens, then there'll be a new album sometime.
So you're looking for more of a natural evolution rather than thinking
I have to, yeah. It's also, again, it's a question of budget, because it's not that I can really focus on the next album for weeks and months or so. I can't do that because I have to make money, mastering other bands, etc.
Well, taking the question of budget out the window, taking the question of time, space, reality out the window, if you could choose to be in any band ever, which band do you think you'd have loved to be a member of?
That is a difficult question, because I have never thought of myself as being a band musician. I've tried that with...
Maybe an artist that you'd love to have worked with.
Maybe Kraftwerk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They're
like heroes of some
seminal, isn't it?
They are kind of the godfathers.
Yes, of course. So just to look at their museum of synthesizers and
so you'd work with them, not to so necessarily make music with them, but to look at their museum.
Yeah, just.
We've been asking a lot of the acts this weekend about what's on their MP3 player. I've been quite surprised by the eclectic range of music and styles. Like, some guys have got country on their MP3 player, some guys have got death metal, some guys have got like grunge. If we took the next 3 or 4 tracks off your MP3 player, what might they be? What you're listening to at the moment? What you're checking out?
I'd definitely have some dubstep tracks on it. Not necessarily Skrillex, but something like that. Maybe Noisia, for example. Some hard dance as well. Not necessarily some dark EPM-ish tracks or so. Maybe some psytrance and goa tracks as well. Something that is really well produced.
That's obviously, as a producer, I imagine you're feeling that sort of like production level quality, and you're probably quite picky, I'd imagine. So I know myself, being a DJ, I hear things in tracks other people don't hear. They don't hear it at all, but I hear each individual strand going together, and you must hear that 10 times.
Yeah, that is one thing, and of course it's also it's making the enjoyment of music a little bit difficult, because there's always the analysis going on in parallel. So looking at a track from the emotional side is sometimes hard. But as a DJ or as a producer, you still have to notice and know how the tracks is going to work emotionally.
So you've been a producer, and obviously you've remixed a lot of artists before, but if you could choose one artist who could remix a Soman track, who hasn't worked with one of your records that you'd really love to hear them do their thing with,
So you think what artists I would like to remix?
Or
the way
conversely.
around, who would you like to remix you?
Yeah, there's one techno artist, his name is Thomas Heckmann. He's one of those analog techno heroes of the 90s, and if he would remix one of my tracks, I would really be proud, because he's doing excellent jobs. And if I could choose a band to remix, that's hard to tell. Maybe it would be something like Depeche Mode or something.
Oh, good call. I'm liking that. Yeah.
Because I have the feeling that they kind of went into the wrong direction and could really sound better.
Yeah.
He went through a weird heroin phase, didn't he? You know, where he just lost the plot a little bit.
I do remember buying Ultra, thinking, oh, I couldn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite what I.
Yeah, and comparing, the first 80s releases, the albums, with the new releases, I thought, oh, what's happened? Something's gone wrong. And then they put out these remix 12 inches and CDs, and I thought, they're only picking techno producers. Why not choose some out of the dark scene to release?
I remember hearing John the Revelator and thinking it was good, but like to me, it felt a little bit like Enjoy the Silence being redone to a degree. I don't know why. It just didn't feel like anything new. It just felt like, let's take something we've done and and play with it. And I felt that they got stagnant. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, of course. If you get a remix from a really big band, there's always this problem of having too much respect for the original track and for the artist, and that is something that you have to liberate yourself from. So you really have to be very objective.
So you wouldn't mind if someone took a Soman track and just chopped it up so much as unrecognisable?
If it's good, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
of course.
Okay, and if you'd like to give a shout out to the people who are watching this on Resistance TV, what would you like to say to them?
I'd like to say, enjoy the Resistance Festival. Hopefully there's going to be another one next year, and